Hi boys and girls, it is Monday, June 1st. It's finally June. So we got through about 2 months of virtual learning. I miss seeing you all in the classroom and teaching you in person, but I do like seeing you on the Google Meets and doing our read alouds still virtually. So we are basically at the end of the year. This is our last assignment. Next week we will do a fun assignment. But this is your last graded assignment. So I want you to try your best. Those of you that are handing in my work are doing a super job and I'm super proud of you. We learned about a lot of things this year. We learned about respect. We learned about friendship. We learned about how to treat our friends. We learned about our feelings, our emotions. We learned about people that we can call our role models, people that we look up to. Could be mom, dad, or somebody like Martin Luther King. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Martin Luther King. I know we've learned about him before, but he is one of my all-time favorite people to learn about. And why is he so special? He's very special because he was one of the greatest civil rights leaders of all times. Civil rights means he wanted to fight for the rights of everybody, okay? Not fight like fighting with your fists, fighting with your words. He was a great speaker. He was the leader of a church, so people would come every week and listen to his speeches at church, and then he would give speeches at protests and peaceful protests and things like that because he was such a good speaker. And people like Rosa Parks came to him for help when she got kicked off the bus and arrested. She went to Martin and said, what can we do? Because remember, back before the law was changed, there was segregation. Big word, but it meant that white and black people had to live separately. And Martin fought for there not to be segregation anymore. Okay, so we don't have segregation anymore. We're all allowed to live wherever we want and be friends with whoever we want. And that was his dream. Remember, he had the I Have a Dream speech. All right, so I'm just going to read the first chapter to you, and then you're going to go in and write a couple things about Martin Luther King. If you enjoy the chapter of the story, this book is called Who Was Martin Luther King Jr. by Bonnie Bader. Growing up in the South was not easy for Martin Luther King Jr. He was born in 1929, so it's 2020, so it was almost 100 years ago he was born, when black people were treated very differently than white people. One day, Martin's father took his young son to buy a pair of shoes. The store was empty, but the white shoe keeper told them that they would have to wait in the back of the store. Martin's father got very angry. Why did they have to sit in the back of the store? The store was empty anyway. If he couldn't buy shoes for his son in the front of the store like everybody else, he was not going to buy them at all. He took Martin by the hand and led him out of the store. As they walked down the street, his father said, I don't care how long I have to live with this system, I will never accept it. The system in the South kept black people apart from white people. It was called segregation. Black children and white children went to separate schools. Black people had a ride at the back of the bus. As he grew up, Martin decided to fight for a change. And remember, he was fighting with his words. But it was a peaceful fight. He didn't want to use violence ever. He was against violence. Martin led marches. He banded people together in a protest. A protest is like a march, and people would stand with signs saying that they wanted something to change. He made speeches. Remember, he was great at speaking. Many people listened to his words and joined his non-violent fight. Non-violent means not violent. Martin Luther King Jr. fought using his words, not his fists. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, and he gave a very famous speech called I Have a Dream. And he said in that dream that he wished all people could live together, of all colors, in peace and be treated equally. And though he died over 40 years ago, his dream lives on. So he helped Rosa Parks when she got arrested and put in jail for not getting off the bus. Remember, she was coming home from work that day, and she was sick and tired of being treated unfairly just because she was black. And she said, no, I'm not getting off. I'm not going to the back of the bus. And they said, well, then you're going to be arrested. And then after she was arrested, she thought to call Martin Luther King. And she said, what can we do? We need a change. And he said, we're going to give up the buses for as long as we can. So the black people came together and gave up the buses for a whole year. That's 365 days. That's a long time. And they found different ways to get to work and school and all of that. And then the city officials finally decided that they needed to change the law. So they won their battle because they didn't give up, and then black people could sit anywhere they wanted on the bus. So using your words and coming together and not giving up are the way to change things. And Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks are heroes to me because they fought for change and they were role models, people that we can look up to. So I just wanted to review that because to me they are heroes, and you're going to go back in your Google Classroom and write some things about them. Okay, like I said, I will see you next week for a fun activity. Do good on all your assignments.